Shalom, with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. What we teach is that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel according to the Bible, and we are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. If it's not in the ISUPK under Commander General Yohana, then you are not in the truth. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat. I'm the only one here, so if you have a question, Baba Kashad, type it in on YouTube, because that's the only one I can see at the moment. Salakia, 1 second. So everybody know, of course, that all across America today, blacks, Hispanics, and even Native Indians, all across the country, today celebrated Thanksgiving. You understand? Celebrated Thanksgiving. And if you don't realize by now that we are slaves in America, then the fact that we are celebrating Thanksgiving today is absolute undeniable proof that we are still slaves in America. Because only a slave would celebrate a day that celebrates the murder of their ancestors. You understand? Like, only a slave would do that. I mean, if you look at other countries in the world, look at Germany, right? Germany doesn't have a holiday where they celebrate losing World War II. You understand? Iraq doesn't have a holiday celebrating the invasion of America. You understand? And Great Britain doesn't have a holiday celebrating their loss of the Revolutionary War. You understand? So why is it that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are celebrating a day where we were the ones who were gunned down? We were the ones who were robbed of everything, robbed of their history, robbed of their culture, robbed of our land. You understand? We're the ones who had our children taken from us. You understand? Had our children taken from us and forced to go to these educational centers. You understand? And forced to conform to an American way of life. You understand? That's how we became to celebrate Thanksgiving. You understand? And think of the brainwashing. You understand? Think of the brainwashing. You understand? Think about how brainwashed we are to celebrate this day. During slavery, they used Thanksgiving, 4th of July, all of our oppressors' holidays. All of those days were days where they allowed us to not work. We didn't have to work that day. So it was a day off for us. So a lot of slaves started celebrating these customs and these feasts just because it was a day that they didn't have to go and pick cotton. So we were forced into adopting these cultures. You understand? But now we live in a time where we don't have to celebrate these holidays. It's not required by law. You understand? Even though you see situations that happen, uh, like with Colin Kaepernick, it's not a requirement by law to stand for the national anthem. But yet, when Colin Kaepernick kneeled for the national anthem, you understand, he ended up losing his position in the NFL. You understand? So, according to these laws, you understand, we don't have to celebrate these feast days. We don't have to stand for the national anthem. You understand? They'll still punish us for it, and things like that, like what they did with Colin Kaepernick. You understand? But they not gonna punish us or anybody for not celebrating Thanksgiving. You understand? They're not gonna celebrate people for. I mean, they're not going. America is not going to punish people for not celebrating their feast. You understand? So we're not living in a time where that is something that's forced upon us anymore. Now we just do it. You understand? With no understanding of the disrespect that we have towards our forefathers by celebrating it, and most of all, the anger that the Most High has towards His children celebrating this disgusting holiday. You understand? It's not required by law to celebrate Thanksgiving. We have feast days in the school, and I tell people this all the time in the world. You understand? You celebrate one day. You understand? They talk about all the benefits. I ask them, why do they celebrate Thanksgiving? They say, oh, well, it ain't about what the holiday about. It's about sitting down with my family having a meal. Yeah, I hear you. But you know what? In the ISUPK, we have feast days, and we celebrate those feast days. We get those feast days out of the Bible. You understand? We celebrate the feast and the high holy days that the Most High wants us to celebrate. You understand? And here's the deal. Our feast days, they're not one day. You understand? Our feast days are 7 days. You understand? So we celebrate our feast for 7 days. Meaning if all you care about, if the only reason why you celebrate Thanksgiving is to sit down and have a meal with your family, then guess what? Why not? If that's what you want to do, why not just celebrate Hanukkah, Hanukkah? Why not celebrate the Feast of First Fruits? Why not celebrate the Passover? You understand? The Passover, man, that is the most glorious thing I've ever experienced. The most glorious experience I ever had in my life was my first Passover. You understand? Never felt anything like it before. You understand? And to come together in brotherhood, the Passover is the only place you can go, you understand, where your kids can run completely wild. You understand? And nothing at anywhere, at any point, is going to happen to that child. Because that child is going to be cared for everywhere you go. You understand? So the Passover is where it's at. If you celebrating Thanksgiving, you understand, then here's what, if that's the only reason why you celebrate Thanksgiving, then start coming to the school here in Simpsonville. Come to our feast days. You understand? Come to one of our feast days and celebrate with us and see how the Hebrews get down. Come get you some of this good food and drink with the brothers. You understand? If that's what it's all about, then bring your family up here and do it the way the Most High want us to do it. You understand? But instead, you do it at home the way the Christian church wants you to do it. You understand? Celebrating a day that that celebrates the murder and genocide and enslavement of our forefathers. You understand? And we're gonna bring out some events in history that happened. You understand? That happened to Native Indians. You understand? And I'm bringing this out because these are things that are not talked about by black and native leadership. You understand? These are things that we do not learn in high school and in middle school. You understand? We don't learn it in the Christian church. You understand? Because these are facts. And when you look at society today is no different than it was 300 years ago. It's no different. You understand? It's no different than it was 150 years ago. You understand? I'm going to show you I'm going to bring out some events. Salakia. Salakia, hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second. Shalom, shalom. All right. Can everybody hear me? If you can hear me, type it into the chat. you can hear me, type it into the chat. All right, Most High in Christ. Most High in Christ. All right. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. All right. So we celebrate, we celebrate this holiday. You understand? And most people say they celebrate it for reasons like I'm able to sit and eat with my family. You understand? I'm able to sit and enjoy a meal with my family and see family members that I haven't seen in a while and things like that. You understand? But the thing is, if that's the only reason that you're celebrating it, then you have no excuse for not celebrating the feast days that the Lord decreed in the Bible. You understand? We celebrating our oppressor's holiday. You understand? And ignoring the Most High's holidays. You understand? We ignore the Most High's high holy days, but yet we love to celebrate. You understand? Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, the 4th of July. You understand? We celebrate these feasts, but yet we ignore the Most High. You understand? And we say we do it all because of, we think it's nothing wrong with it. Even after you tell somebody, they say the first thing you say was, I don't do it I don't celebrate it for what it is. I just celebrate it so I can spend time with my family. You understand? And so the thing is that even if that's the case, then what you're doing is you just rationalizing, breaking, going against the Most High. You coming up with an excuse to go against what the Most High laid down. You understand? And so, hold on 1 second. So, you understand, we don't want to hear what the Most High had to say, because in our own mind, you understand, we rather think that it's all right. Even, we may not honor it as the day that America murdered the North American Indians. We may not honor it as such. You understand? But the thing is, you just putting too much trust in yourself and your understanding. You understand that you tripping up over your own thoughts and feelings to even hear what the Most High got to say. You understand? And so, and when you go to Proverbs 28:26, Proverbs 28:26, I'm going to read it for you. It says, he that trusteth in his own heart is a fool. But whoso walketh wisely, he shall be delivered. You understand? So you shouldn't put too much trust in your own heart and your own understanding. You understand? Thinking that you know better. You understand? Because if you celebrate Thanksgiving, then you don't know better. Because you're doing the very thing that the Lord don't want us to do. You understand? And you think the Most High just going to look over it. Nah. You understand? The Most High ain't going to look over it. You understand? You sit around that table and you praying with your family. Listen, the Most High is not going to listen to them prayers. The Lord ain't going to listen to that. You understand? Because when you celebrating something the Lord said not to celebrate. You understand? The Lord told us not to do this thing, not to celebrate Thanksgiving. But yet, we doing it and telling ourselves in our mind all these reasons on why we want to go against the Most High. That's like a child. You understand? You ask a child, why you didn't clean up your room? Well, because I was this and I was that and I was this. I ain't care about all that. Why you didn't clean your room? You understand? It's like a child. You understand? And the thing is, man, it's we have to come up out of this, celebrate these feast days, and then have the nerve to say that Black Lives Matter. We have the nerve to wear T-shirts that say her name, talking about Breonna Taylor. You understand? It's a sad thing what happened to that sister and all the brothers and sisters that get murdered in this kingdom. You understand? It's a sad thing. But at the same time, how can we sit there and feel some type of way about when our brothers get murdered and then turn around and celebrate a holiday that celebrates just that? You understand? That's like an oxymoron. You understand? You're saying one thing and you're doing another. You understand? If you really care about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, if you really want to take a stand against the murder of our people, then maybe the first thing you should do is stop celebrating the murder of our people. You understand? Maybe that should be the first thing. You understand? We like to say we care about, you understand, the family members that we have that are dying in the hospital. You understand? But yet we sit around and celebrate the murder of our brother or our sister or our children. You understand? Because that's what Thanksgiving is all about. You understand? Thanksgiving is about our oppressor being thankful for establishing the United States of America on land that they stole from the North American Indian. They had to murder to get this land. You understand? They murdered from the minute they set foot on this land, and they still murder it today, over 400 years later. And we celebrate it every year. We cheer that murder on every single year at Thanksgiving. Today you were cheering on our oppressors. You understand? All black people sat around all across America and cheered the Most High on. I mean, not the Most High, but cheered our oppressor on. You understand? We cheered them on in the murder and the conquest of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand? And the Lord hates that. You understand? We like to think God is all love. The Lord hates that. He hates the fact that we celebrate this holiday. You understand? He has a hatred for that. You understand? And the Lord ain't dealing with, you know what I mean? The Lord ain't with brothers and sisters that celebrate this holiday. You understand? Think about it. You know what I mean? How many fights break out at Thanksgiving? You understand? I know when I used to celebrate it seemed like every Thanksgiving I was getting in a fist fight with somebody. You understand?
How many fights have broken out at the Thanksgiving table? You understand? How many children had to sit at the table and eat a meal next to the person that's been molesting them for the past year? You understand? The spirit of these holidays is the spirit of murder. You understand? That's the spirit on Thanksgiving. It's the spirit of murder. And this whole time of the year, everything about this time of the year, from Thanksgiving to Christmas to New Year's, it's all in the spirit of murder. That's why so many people die. Imagine how many people probably gonna get robbed tomorrow for Black Friday. You understand? That's like a tradition. Eat Thanksgiving dinner. Say they thankful to the Lord for all the things they're thankful for, and then go out on Black Friday and start robbing people. You understand? Give me 1 second here, Brother Shot. All right, so we're going to go to Amos chapter 5, verse 21. Amos chapter 5, verse 21. I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. So the Lord says he hates Thanksgiving. He hates and he despises. You understand? He despises. When you put that turkey in the oven, the Most High despised that. When you woke up early to put that turkey in the oven, just to sit there all day and sit there and squirt a little juice on the turkey. You understand? Sat there all day making stuffing and onions and macaroni and cheese and all the food that you made. You understand? All this food that you sacrificed, and all in the name of murder. In the name of genocide. You understand? The Lord hates that. You understand? The Lord hates that. He hates that we celebrate that. And he said that he's not going to smell in your solemn assemblies. You understand? The Most High says that he will not smell in your solemn assemblies. A lot of us like to sit and think and sit at Thanksgiving dinner, sit at the Thanksgiving table and sit there and say our prayers and think that the Lord won't be with us. The Lord is not going to be with you. You understand? The Lord is not going to be with you sitting there about to celebrate the murder of Native Indians. You understand? At camp this past weekend, I brought out about Wounded Knee. And in Wounded Knee, that was a massacre that happened to North American Indians. You understand? That was a massacre that happened. And the way they massacred the North American Indians at Wounded Knee was no different than how they still murder us today. It's no different. Everything step by step, how they did it, played out exactly the way it plays out today. You understand? And what they did was they had the whole camp. You understand? They was moving the Native Indians from one area to the other. And they was so-called supposed to be escorting them to the land that they were going to be designated to. You understand? Because the white man stole our land. You understand? And he was giving us land that he stole from another tribe. You understand? So he was moving the North American Indians from one land to another land. But when they got to that land, all of a sudden, they changed up. You understand? They changed up, and so they went and they had a bugle call. They blew a bugle, the horn. And when they blew the bugle, they made all the Native Indians come out of their tent in the dead of winter. You understand? And they told them, said, listen, all y'all need to take all y'all guns and put them in a pile. You understand? So the North American Indians, they took their guns and they put them in a pile. Because they didn't want to have a problem They didn't want war with the white man. You understand? They didn't want to fight against him. They wanted to have peace with him. You understand? And so after they ready to put all their guns down, you understand, they did a shakedown. And if you ever been in jail, then you know what a shakedown is. A shakedown is when they make everybody come out of their cell, and then one by one they go in your cell and rip everything up looking for contraband. And so they went into the teepees and ripped everything up. You understand? They were taking anything that could be used as a weapon and taking it out of the teepees. You understand? It still wasn't enough after they made them put all their guns down, and then they shook them down and took all their forks, knives, took the tent stakes, the stakes that they used to keep their tents up. You understand? They took the tent stakes. You understand? And then, even further, like I said, it was a dead of winter time. So even further, they then went and made the Native Indians remove their blankets and hand over any knives they had, any other weapons whatsoever that they had. You understand? And so, and while they was doing that, one of the Native Indian brothers was deaf. Meaning he couldn't hear. He couldn't hear if you spoke to him. But yet, even though he couldn't hear, he still had the understanding that they want us to put all our guns down. So he was making an attempt to put his gun down. But while he was walking up there to put his gun down, he was holding his gun over his head. You understand? Holding your hands and your gun over your head, that's like a sign of surrender. You understand? So he's holding his gun over his head, and he's just saying, I paid a lot of money for this gun. You understand? And so he's putting it down, but it's just not happening fast enough for the white man to be satisfied. So immediately they grabbed this brother and started wrestling with the brother, trying to take the gun from him. You understand? And in the midst of them trying to take the gun from him, a single shot went off. Now keep in mind, this is how murderous our person is. Keep in mind, right? Common sense should tell you that we just took all their guns. We just went in all their teepees and took everything that could be used as a weapon out of their teepees and threw it in a pile. You understand? And then we made them remove their blankets and we searched them and took whatever remaining weapons they had on. And this is the last guy with a weapon. And we're wrestling with him. And one shot goes off. And for that one shot going off from them wrestling with that gun, they then turned and opened fire on over 300 men, women, and children. There were innocent men, women, and children. And majority of them was women and children. They gunned them down. They shot them with so many rounds that when they fired off the gun, now keep in mind, we live in a time before machine guns. You understand? We live in a time where the most advanced weapon in the world was a Gatling gun, where you would hold the crank in the back and you would crank the gun. You understand? Like how you used to see them start the cars back in the old black and white movies. You understand? That was the most advanced weapon in the world at that time. But so many rounds got fired at the North American Indians that didn't have no weapons that they described it as sounding like the ripping of a canvas. You understand? Like the ripping of a canvas. Like imagine a 10-foot piece of canvas, like how they would build like a tent that's kind of big enough to have a whole dinner inside or something, to live inside. And then you take that canvas and you rip it down. You understand? There was so many bullets fired that that's how they described the sound of it. You understand? And then and then they kept firing to the point where it was so many shots getting fired that people started, they said that it was deafening. So they could barely hear anything. You know how when you play the game Call of Duty, when a grenade goes off and you hear that ringing in your ear, everything sounds muffled, but you hear that ringing in your ear? You understand? That's what they experienced out there. You understand? There was they made a movie about this book. It's called Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. You understand? Everybody should take a look at that movie. You understand? Because it gives you a visual of what went down. You understand? And so these are men, women, and children. Shots start firing off, and they start running for their life. Many of them start running for their life. And they just mowed them down. And then they said that the guns just stopped firing for just a second, for a few seconds. It got quiet. And then all of a sudden they pulled out the Hotchkiss gun, which is a Gatling gun, which was a 30 caliber machine gun, 30 caliber Gatling gun. To describe to you what a Hotchkiss gun is if you ever seen this movie called Saving Private Ryan, at the end of the movie, there's a scene where what's the dude's name? Tom Hanks is and his soldiers are fighting against an army tank. They're trying to stop an army tank. And so off in the distance, you see these guys roll around this Gatling gun on wheels. And then they pointed at the guys trying to stop the army tank, and then they started cranking it. And once they started cranking it, the bullets started hitting, you started seeing it knock limbs off, chopping people into pieces, literally. You understand? That's what type of gun they started firing at these North American Indians. After they just fired almost 1,000 rounds at them, then they pull out the Hotchkiss gun and start mowing the rest of them down. Because the rifles just wasn't getting the job done quick enough. You understand? And then after they stopped firing the Hotchkiss gun, they started shooting mortar shells at them. You understand? Mortar shell, if you ever see those movies where, like the old war movies or even the modern war movies, where they have this thing, it's like a pipe sitting kind of at an angle. And you'll see the two guys, one of them drop the bomb inside of it, the other one shoot the thing. And it shoots a bomb far up in the sky, and then it drops down and explodes. They started firing more of those at the North American Indians at Wounded Knee. Killed every single one of them. You understand? There was so many bodies that they just left them there. The white man just left them dead bodies laying on the ground at Wounded Knee. And they left them laying there for 3 days. And it snowed on the top of the bodies. And they got pictures. If you go online and just go on Google and type in Wounded Knee. Knee like the knee on your leg. Just go on Google and type in Wounded Knee. And you're going to see hundreds of images of our brothers dead in the snow. You understand? They didn't even have the decency to pick up the bodies. So you know what they did? They went back to the other Native Indians and told them they could go pick up their people. You understand? And then after they gunned down the North American Indians, they had a trial about it. You understand? They had a trial about it. And guess what? You'd be surprised. Surprise, surprise. They were found not guilty of murder. They said that they called it the Battle of Wounded Knee, when there was no battle. How can you declare something a battle if you're an army and the majority of the people that you're killing is women and children? You understand? It was children running for their lives, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, running for their lives. And children got shot with the Hodgkin's gun, with a 30 caliber Gatling gun. That's the type of firepower with mortar shells. Can you imagine a child running through a field dodging bullets that just watched their whole family just get cut into pieces right before their eyes? They can't hear nothing. They can't barely see nothing. And then they dodging mortar shells till eventually they get hit by one. You know what I'm saying? That's what they did to the North American Indians, and that's just one situation. You understand? And the only reason why we even know about that situation is because there were survivors, there were witnesses. You understand? There were people who went on to tell a story about Wounded Knee. There were people who had to pick up the bodies. You understand? But there's hundreds of situations that we would never know anything about. We would never hear about. You understand? Back in those days, they didn't have Instagram and Snapchat and camera phones. You understand? They didn't have that. So imagine how much murder went under the rug that didn't even get documented. Imagine that. Imagine your whole family, your whole tribe, everything that you knew, your entire world was just cut into pieces, literally, like a meat grinder. You understand? To be never heard of again. For nobody to even know that you existed. You understand? That's what you celebrate by celebrating Thanksgiving. You celebrate that. You understand? You celebrate that murder. And the thing is that because all you care about is your own selfish lust, you can care less about the fact that this day is about the murder of our ancestors. You understand? We dishonor our ancestors by doing that, man. You understand? It's a dishonor to do that. You understand? And a lot of our people don't, they speak against the Bible. You understand? Don't believe in Christianity. Don't even go to church, but yet they still celebrate Thanksgiving. They still celebrate Christmas. You understand? So they're all Christians. And guess what? Christianity is the religion of white supremacy. And Thanksgiving is a holiday of white supremacy. The 4th of July is a holiday of white supremacy. And guess what? Christmas is a celebration of white supremacy. You understand? Thanksgiving is about when the white man killed the Native Indian and built his empire and had niggas in chains. You understand? That's what Thanksgiving all about. You understand? Christmas, guess what? It ain't even about the white Jesus that they worship in the Christian church. It's about Santa Claus. You understand? Santa, guess what? They paint Santa Claus white with pink cheeks. You understand? All of these holidays, these customs that America follows, is all about white supremacy. That's what it's all about. That's what it all boils down to. You understand? Because think about it. America America did not start as a country. It started as a business transaction. That's how America began. That's how the trip to America began with Christopher Columbus. It was a business transaction. You understand? Christopher Columbus, just like any type of businessman who wants to do a business venture, you understand, he would look for investors. He would get, to modern days time, he would either get a bank loan or get someone to invest in his company through a hedge fund or something like that. You understand? So back then, the big ballers were the kings and the queens and the monarchs. You understand? So Christopher Columbus, you understand, he went and lobbied to all these rulers, and some of them invested in his trip to find what they call the New World. You understand? And Christopher Columbus, the only way he even knew about the New World was because of what was written in the book of Esdras, what we call the Apocrypha. This right here. These are 14 books that were taken out of the Bible. They were removed from the Bible by the Roman Catholic Church. And in it tells you about the Northern Kingdom leaving from the middle, what they call the Middle East, and traveling to America, to North, Central, and South America. And the book of Second Esdras was what Christopher Columbus used as a reference to prove that there was land on the other side of the ocean. You understand? And when Christopher Columbus got investors to invest in him discovering that land. And when he came over here, he discovered Puerto Rico. You understand? He discovered, he didn't discover anything. He conquered Puerto Rico. You understand? He sailed to the Americas. You understand? And he landed in Puerto Rico. And then put the Puerto Ricans in slavery and brought back Puerto Rican slaves to the kings and queens and the Roman Catholic Church that invested in his trip. You understand? So Christopher Columbus, he came over here and got investors because he believed that there were untapped resources across the ocean. There were countless resources that would make all these empires rich. He saw the big picture 400 years or 300 years before it actually happened. You understand? He saw the big picture, and what the big picture was, he knew that there were people, he knew that there was a land across that ocean. And he knew that there were people living on that land across the ocean. And he knew that they were going to go over there and they were going to murder God's chosen people, take that land and take the resources and become rich and powerful. And that's exactly what America did. That's exactly what America did. America did exactly what Christopher Columbus sought out to do. So America started as a business, and the business of America is murder and enslavement and extortion. You understand? That is the business of America. America was started by the wiping out of Native American society. Native Americans had a beautiful society before the white man showed up. You understand? A lot of people just look at cowboy and Indian movies and think that they was just Indians, that the Indians was just savages who lived in the woods. No, they had a very complex society. You understand? They had laws, they had bylaws, and they also had laws on how they dealt with each other, with tribes outside of their own. You understand? The Native Americans had a very complex society. And majority of their customs came straight out of the Bible. You understand? So the Native American society, you understand, like when you read in the book Lost Tribes and Promised Lands, you understand? It says that the North American Indians, they had each tribe had its own language, but at the same time, all of the tribes also shared an ancestral language. They have an ancestral language. And that ancestral language is what we teach in the ISUPK every Friday, which is the Lashawan Kodash, the Holy Tongue, or Hebrew. You understand? North American Indians, they actually did commerce with each other from North America to South America. You understand? They knew, they traveled, they were a maritime people, meaning that they actually sailed between North and South America, and all throughout the Caribbean. You understand? That's why the Taino Indians identified themselves as the tribe, so like the tribe of Ephraim, and said that their brother, the tribe of Joseph, is on the island nearby. You understand? So the North American Indians, they knew and traveled and did commerce and trade with each other all throughout North, Central, and South America. And they all communicated with each other through that ancestral language. They would greet each other. Like if they were two different tribes that spoke two different languages, they would greet each other in Hebrew. They would say, Shema Yasha'ala Yahweh Alahayanawa Yahweh Akkad. You understand? Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. You understand? They would say that to each other in Hebrew. You understand? So the North American Indians, they were a very complex and beautiful society. They had laws on how they dealt with brothers and sisters that would break those laws. You understand? They had judgment for certain things and all that. You understand? And oftentimes when you do research in Native American culture and laws and things like that, you start to see that a lot of it was straight out of the book of Deuteronomy and Leviticus. You understand? And the white man came over here and murdered that. A lot of Native Indians today don't know nothing about what I'm even talking about. You try to talk to them try to mention to them about the Native Americans having ancestral language and communicating between North, Central, and South America, they won't even know what you're talking about. Because we don't even know our own history. Because we are slaves in America. We are oppressed and destroyed in America. Now Native Indians live on reservations with the highest suicide rate in the world. You understand? Think about that. Think about that. And yet we celebrate a holiday that celebrates their downfall. You know how you got the song, a lot of rappers say in songs that, like, I think 50 Cent said people pray on my downfall. I don't know, is that 50 Cent? Somebody, I don't know who it is, you understand? But you hear that all the time in rap, when people say, they praying on my downfall. You understand? But here's the thing. When we celebrate Thanksgiving, we celebrating the downfall of the North American Indians. You understand? That's our brother. That's the black man. That's your brother. How can you celebrate the downfall of your brother? Hispanic man, that's your brother. How can you sit there and celebrate the downfall of your brother? The oppression of your brother? You understand? Our person sitting around cutting turkey, eating cranberry sauce and potato salad with the raisins in it. You understand? Meanwhile, my brother is trying not to commit suicide on the reservation right now. You understand? To hell with Thanksgiving, man. That's not our holiday. It has never been our holiday. None of these holidays that we celebrate in America have anything to do with us. Especially Thanksgiving. You understand? Especially Thanksgiving. It ain't about family. It's about bloodshed. You understand? I'm going to go to Jeremiah chapter 10. You understand? The Lord don't want us to celebrate these holidays, man. Like, you know what I mean? No more than he want us murdering each other. You understand? He don't want us murdering each other, and then he does. If he don't want us murdering each other, he definitely don't want us celebrating the murder of our murder. You understand? Think about how big of a slap in the face that is to the Most High. You understand? Think about man. That man. Look, man. They got a term for that in the street. They call it simping. You are a simp if you celebrate Thanksgiving. You are the ultimate simp. You understand? Want to know how I know? Because America is that hoe that we gave that ring to, that we signed a marriage certificate with, who cheated on us with all our friends. You understand? Right in our face. And we only stay with them because they say they love us. You understand? That's America. America's that hoe that's sleeping with all your homeboys and say she love you. You understand? That's America. You understand? And you know what? Celebrating Thanksgiving, that's just like you buying her that ring, that wedding ring, and marrying her. You understand? You marrying that hoe after she done slept with all your homeboys. You understand? After you had walked in with two of your homeboys gangbanging your wife. You understand? When you put a ring on it, that's what it's like to celebrate Thanksgiving. That's how I look at you when you say you're a black man celebrating Thanksgiving. That's honestly how I look at you when I hear you say you celebrate it. I look at you like you just the ultimate simp. You understand? We celebrate in America. But what is America? If we celebrate in America, but yet we out here protesting in the goddamn street about America, about the conditions in America. You understand? If you're unhappy with the conditions in America, then why are you celebrating America? You understand? Why are you celebrating losing a battle? You understand here's the crazy part. Thanksgiving is about us losing a battle. Hanukkah is about us winning a battle. You understand? Hanukkah is about us actually winning a battle. You understand? That's about when the Greeks tried to invade Israel. And Israel, you know, and Judas Maccabees and Maccabees put a hurting on them boys. You understand? They put a hurting on them boys, took back the temple, and then they decorated the temple even more beautiful than before. You understand? They took back what was taken from them. You understand? And they stood. Those men stood when all other and when every other brother wanted to just fold and join the white man and celebrate the white man. You understand? That was our victory. Hanukkah is about our victory. The Passover is about our victory. You understand? Wouldn't you rather celebrate, you understand, the victory of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians? You understand? Wouldn't you want to celebrate the victory as opposed to the defeat? Why are we celebrating our defeat? Miami Heat didn't go, Miami Heat didn't go home and celebrate after they lost to the Lakers. You understand? Jimmy Butler wasn't popping bottles, having a parade after the playoffs. You understand? Nah. They went home with their head down. You understand? And they pulled out the drawing board to try to figure out how they could get about this mess. But here's the thing, man. The only way out is the ISUPK. You understand? That's the only way out. You understand? And it ain't gonna be trying to figure it out on your own, thinking you're gonna improvise. You understand? It's only through the ISUPK that you're gonna come up out of this. Because the ISUPK is the only people in the world who teach the truth. You understand? It's the only organization in the entire planet that taught you that Jesus is black. You understand? They taught you about the chariots. You understand? They showed you in the Bible that we were brought over here in slave ships 4,000 years before it happened. You understand? We showed you that Christ was right, was black, that the prophets was black. You understand? The ISUPK was the only organization in the world to teach you that. You understand? To teach you about the high holy days. You understand? There was nobody doing it before the ISUPK. You understand? The Lord built the ISUPK. You understand? And if you're not in the ISUPK, you understand? You need to ask yourself, why not? Why are you not in the ISUPK? You understand? You want to say that you serve, Yahushua as a king. You understand? Let's get that understood first and foremost. Yahushua is a king. You understand? And if you look at any kingdom, that kingdom has order. You understand? And order does not have division. There is order, so there is no division. So if Christ is a king, you understand, who establishes order, you understand, then that means that all things will be done in order. And like the scriptures say, let all things be done with decency and in order. You understand? So Yahushua is a king. Then every king has an army. You understand? And every army has a general. You understand? Not a bishop. I never heard of a bishop on the battlefield. I didn't know that was a rank. I didn't know you could become a deacon in any military. You understand? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, do we have any veterans in the class? They can correct me. Is there a bishop? You understand? Can I be a bishop or a deacon in the military? Like, is that Marine Corps or Army or Navy? You understand? Every king has an army. And every army has a general. You understand? And here's the thing, that army, you understand, is not divided. You understand? There's one order. There's one army. There's one king, and there's one body. And if it started with the ISUPK, it's going to end with the ISUPK. You understand? And in the ISUPK, we don't allow the spirit of Thanksgiving to creep in. You understand? So, brothers and sisters, you understand, this is your first time having to fight them demons. You know, give yourself a hand. You understand? Because your family, you understand, they, you know, your family, they definitely pour it on thick when the holidays come. You understand? And sometimes, you know, Satan will hit you where it could get you the most. You understand? But you got to be strong and endure. You understand? You got to understand that our family, we don't worship the same God. You understand? Your family, you and your family members do not worship the same God. You understand? So they don't know no better. Because they're not in the truth. But we are in the truth. And we know better. And it's up to us to be the example for those that don't know any better. It's up for us to sacrifice and be strong. You understand? And not go up there and slice you a piece of that turkey and sit around and enjoy that meal with your family. You understand? It's on us to be strong and not compromise this truth. You understand? For what? For love? You understand? If you're young in this truth, you're going to find out soon enough, that there ain't no love anywhere but in the ISUPK. There is no love but in the ISUPK. Southern Poverty Law Center like to call us a hate group. But we ain't no hate group, we a love group. We love Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand? And we love them. And like Commander General Yohana said, you know, we love them so much. You know, nobody loves Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Not the Christian church, not Black Lives Matter, not the president, you understand? Not the mayor, not the senators, you understand? Not the Black Panthers, not the Bloods, not the Crips. Nobody loves Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Not China, not Afghanistan, not Africa, nobody. You understand? But yet, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians give all of their love to the other nations. We give all of our love and our heart and our soul and our mind to days like Thanksgiving. You understand? We can't wait to sit around and enjoy that feast. You understand? We can't wait to just walk around and just smell all the food getting cooked. Just to sit around and feel bad and feel disgusted because you ready to throw your whole plate in your cousin's face for what they did to you, you know, what they said about you on Facebook. You understand? I wonder how many fights gonna be on TikTok tomorrow, if not already. You understand? How many fights is gonna be on TikTok in the morning? You understand? I'm gonna read in the Bible, Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 2. It says, "Thus saith Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen." You understand? And the white man is a heathen. And Thanksgiving is a heathen custom. The Lord Lord say, learn not the way of the heathen. Celebrate Thanksgiving is not the way. You understand? That's not the route you want to go, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. That ain't the path you want to take. Celebrate your own murder? That sound like, man, that sound like bipolar schizophrenic. You understand? With suicidal tendencies. That sound like a mental disorder. But it is a mental disorder. You understand? They have a name for it. You understand? Salakia, what's the name of that thing called? Salakia, class, what's the name of that disorder? Man, what's the name of it called? I forgot the name of it, class. Man. It's the disorder where you when people fall in love with their captor. You understand? That's a mental disorder where you empathize with your kidnapper, where you're like a prisoner of war, and somehow you begin to empathize with the people that are holding you captive. You understand? It was right on the tip of my tongue and I lost it. You know, it'll come back to me. You understand? But that's why we celebrate Thanksgiving. You understand? And so the Lord said that is the way of the heathen. You understand? That's a custom that he came up with. You understand? When he came over here, the lie that he told was that the Native Indians, when they showed up, they was like, oh yeah, you can have this. Yeah, we just keeping it warm for you. This yours. They're like, what? For me? Man, we're going to commemorate this by celebrating Thanksgiving every year. That we're going to commemorate this beautiful gift that these Native Americans just gave us. And we're going to just celebrate and just get money. You know, while they go live on reservations. That's not what happened. Like, come on. Come on, man. You understand? How disgusting of a liar is the white man. You understand? This is why we say that the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. Stockholm Syndrome. The water, Adrian. Sister Adrian. The water. Stockholm Syndrome. It was right on the tip of my tongue earlier. And I just couldn't think of it. But that's it. Stockholm Syndrome. That's why we celebrate Thanksgiving. Because we as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we suffer from Stockholm Syndrome. You understand? And Stockholm Syndrome is why we follow after the other nations. You understand? They beat us down and treat us so bad that we love them to death. We love them to death for it. You understand? That's like these people that's in these relationships where they get buzzed across the head every Wednesday and Tuesday. You understand? And every 30 minutes on Friday. You understand? And they just can't leave it. I just love him so much, even though he whooped my behind. You understand? Even though he knocked my teeth out. You understand? That's us in America. Stockholm Syndrome. That's why we celebrate Thanksgiving. You understand? But the Lord don't want us to follow after these customs. You understand? The Lord don't want us to do that. You understand? I'm gonna bring out a little more history. You understand? See, a lot of us know about the crack epidemic. You heard about the crack epidemic, right? When, had civil rights, and after the fall of our civil rights leaders, you had the rise of different gangs. And the different gangs were more so defending black people and black communities. You understand? Proof of that is, look at the Crips. The Crip gang, their name is Community Revolution in Progress. You understand? So what these gangs did is they were defending blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians against our oppression. During that time, you couldn't just pull up in the black neighborhood and just pull a nightstick out and just start cracking the black man across the head, because the Bloods and the Crips gonna show up and they're gonna deal with you. You understand? But that changed with the crack epidemic. You understand? With the drug epidemic that plagued the black community for decades, and nothing was done about trying to help black people to not do drugs, to get off drugs and to clean up their lives. Nothing was done for that. The crack epidemic was a tool that was used to divide blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians and allow them the vehicle to lock us up by the millions. You understand? And in turn, it sparked gang war after gang war after gang war after gang war after gang war. And hundreds of thousands of black men have died as a result of the crack epidemic. You understand? Hundreds of thousands, if not millions. There's millions of black men that are in prison right now because of the crack epidemic. Because of that era where gang violence was plaguing the black community in certain cities, like in South Central and Compton and the West Coast and New York and Louisiana and all these places in the Midwest. You understand? There was a rise of gang violence and a rise of gangs selling drugs. And here's the thing: when you implement drugs, you're gonna have rivalries. When you have rivalries, it leads to war. And when you have war, there are casualties. And when there are casualties, there are prison sentences. You understand? That's what was done to black people during the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. Slowly but surely, it grew and grew and grew. Till now, it seemed like every black man in the world trying to sell a little piece of something. You understand? It's almost to the point where, you know, I was having a conversation with a sister. I was just listening to her speak, and I deduced from the things that was coming out her mouth that according to her, the definition of a real nigga is a dope boy who kills people. That's a real nigga. To this sister, that's the definition of a real nigga. You understand? So, in black society, the drug dealer who kills people is looked at as a prominent figure. You understand? Meanwhile, the man who stands on the corner and teaches the Bible is looked at as the scum of the goddamn earth. You understand? And guess what? That drug dealer who kills people, he's celebrating Thanksgiving right now. Why? Because he's a murderer who celebrates murder. You understand? But as for me and my house, we shall serve the Lord. You understand? We shall serve Yahweh. You understand? The ISUPK, we gonna serve the Most High. So I'll bring all that up about the crack epidemic to say this. They did the same thing to the North American Indians 300 years ago. Well, really 400 years ago. about 400 years ago. They did the same thing to the North American Indians. You gotta ask yourself this question: How is it that white people showed up in America and just slowly but surely wiped out all the North American Indians? You understand? It was a carefully constructed, well thought out, and focused plan. You understand? How else do you kill millions of people? Planning. You understand? Proper planning. And so here was what they did to and you know it's proper planning because they took the same plan and turned around and did the same thing to black people in the 80s. But here's what they did, right? This is how they did it. You understand? The first thing they did, and there's a book that by James Adair, not James Adair, there's a book, by James Adair. No, it's not James Adair. Salakia. My facts might be a little off. But it's called The History of the North American Indians. I believe it is by James Adair. Let me see. I believe it is James Adair. All right, it's by James Adair. The History of the North American Indians. You understand? By James Adair. And in that book, he lived in South Carolina, right here in South Carolina. And in South Carolina, you had these men that were traders, and what they would do is they were like salesmen or like brokers, and they would get a license from the state of South Carolina. And, in order to be a broker or a trader or a salesman, you had to have a license to do so. So South Carolina already established that they had control over who did what in America. They had control over who did what, they allowed who they wanted to allow, so they could maintain the power to be able to do what they wanted to do. So the first thing they did, they gave James Adair a license to be a salesman. And James Adair would go off into native land and would trade ivory for deerskin with the native Indians. And so he would bring back the ivory and would then sell the ivory and make his fortune. He made a fortune off selling and trading with the North American Indians. James Adair was also a avid historian, and he had tons and tons of books. And that's important because back in those days, books were very, very, very expensive. The only people that had books were very rich people. So James Adair was a very rich man and a very studied man. And one thing that he studied more than anything was the Bible. So James Adair, during his travels amongst the North American Indians, mainly what was known as the Hopewell Indians, and what the Hopewell Indians was all the tribes that lived from like Ohio down into like Alabama, Louisiana, and east. So like I guess you would call it like the Eastern time zone and Mountain time. So I guess Eastern time, and I don't know if that's Mountain time or Central time, but the next time zone over, it's like those two time zones would make up the lands where you had what was called the Hopewell Indians, or what was known as the Hopewell Indians. And James Adair traveled all throughout those lands and traded with all kinds of tribes. And so what James Adair would soon start to realize is that there were an overwhelmingly amount of similarities between the customs of the different North American tribes and the Israelites of the Bible. And so he began to document these things. And he put all of that documentation into this book that's called The History of the North American Indians. That entire book is a good book to pick up if you want to study or research on the history of the North American Indians, because it's not actually a book per se. The book, The History of the North American Indians, is really an argument or a legal argument that James Adair was trying to establish with the state of South Carolina. So James Adair, during his travels, became very well connected with the North American Indians and selling ivory. So when James Adair started to notice these similarities and the overwhelming comparison of the North American Indians, he argued that the North American Indians were one of the 12 tribes of Israel. And so he put together that entire book to make that case and showed every example as to why. And he made different arguments. And it's, normally a book has a chapter, but his book has arguments. So each section is a different argument. And he presented those arguments to the state of South Carolina. And what the state of South Carolina did was they took it and was like, could care less about it. And what they ended up doing was they ended up revoking his license and instead gave license to men who sold rum, who traded rum. And so what they did then was they sent the new salespeople out who had no desire to befriend the North American Indians like James Adair did. James Adair had a mutual respect with the tribes, but these new salesmen didn't give a damn about the tribes. So they would go to the tribes and would trade deer skin for rum. And you just do the math. The deer skin, that is a resource. The rum is alcohol that's about to get drunk. And so what started happening was the Native Indians eventually started having less and less deer skin to trade for their rum. And to the point where they got to the point where they were like, you know what? We would love to take the rum, but we ain't got no deer skin. And what does the white man do? The devil that he is, he tells the Native Americans, oh, don't worry about it. We'll put it on your tab. We know you're good for it. And the Native Indians was like, oh, well, bring it on over. Well, you take it then. What's a tag, by the way? You understand? And so that went on and went on to the point where this tribe is now in poverty. This tribe is destroyed, mentally destroyed. You understand? The whole tribe is just in disarray, just destroyed, just drunken, half dead. You understand? And then here comes the white man coming along, and he's telling the Native Indians, say, listen, we've been giving y'all a lot of rum lately, but y'all ain't paid nothing on your tag. But it's time to settle up on that tag. And the Native Indians was like, we don't have nothing to pay on that tag. We don't have nothing. All we do is get drunk. We don't even go hunting no more. We wake up in the morning and get drunk, and we out of rum. So we don't know what we're going to do. So the white man, the devil that he is, told the Native Indians, said, don't worry about it. Tell you what, here's what we're going to do. You see that tribe over there? See, they don't like doing business with us. They don't buy none of our rum. They tell us to stay away from their land. You understand? But here's the thing. We want to expand on that land. We want to make our rum on their land. You know what I mean? We can make our rum on their land. Guess what? You can have all the rum you want. The rum is right there. But here's what you got to do for us. We're going to give you these guns. And we want you to take these guns. And we want you to go over there and get rid of that tribe for us. And in return, we'll wipe your debt clean. And you know what? You can keep the guns and we'll front you some more rum. So that's what began a lot of the tribal wars amongst North American Indians that started to wipe out large patches of land for the white man to come in and clean up the rest. You understand? So he used rum and alcohol to divide the North American Indians and use the North American Indians to kill each other. That's why we had tribal wars. You understand? It wasn't because of some other tribe just happened to just go nuts one day and just start killing another tribe. That never happened amongst the North American Indians. You understand? They had laws on how they dealt inside their tribe, and they had laws. And they had laws on how we dealt outside of the tribe. You understand? So, when we celebrate Thanksgiving, we're celebrating the division, the murder, the oppression, the genocide, the slavery, the abortions, the home invasions, the molestation, the identity theft. You understand? Go down the list. We celebrate that because our identities were stolen. We were stolen and our identity was stolen. You understand? You know how people got that saying in the world, they talk about you sweeping something under the rug. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we are that dirt that is swept under the rug. You understand? We are the remnant of the dirt of America. You understand? What do I mean by that? What I'm saying is not that we're dirt, but what I'm saying is that the black people's history, Hispanic people's history, and Native Indian people's history, our history is the skeletons in the closet of all the rich, powerful nations of this world. You understand? All of these nations in the world came together and invested in a business called America. And that business model was to come to this land, murder the North, Central, and South Americans, steal that land, and build an economy that would drain all of the resources out of this land and become rich by selling it to the rest of their business partners. You understand? And here's the thing. You got these racist devils that they go around talking about, and I'm sure some of us have heard it, but they talk about how black people get welfare and they don't want to have to pay taxes for black people to just sit around and be lazy and get welfare. Man, damn that. Because here's some facts for you. You know, I'm going to hit you with this fact before we wrap up the class. But here's a fact, right? There are countries out here where the citizens of that country get a welfare check in the mail every month from the U.S. government. They get that check because their forefathers made a smart investment and invested in a business called America. So those welfare checks are what they call dividends of the investment that their forefathers made. So there are people living in other nations who get a welfare check off of the tax money and the gross domestic product of the United States, and they get somewhere, some people get in tunes of $3,000 to $4,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 a month in welfare. So guess what? All these racist devils is complaining about the $300 that black women out here get with 5 kids at home to feed. You understand? They complain about them couple $100, but don't even know about the thousands of dollars that they're getting over in different countries in the Middle East. You understand? And in different countries in Europe. Don't even know about that. You understand? If you told them, they wouldn't even believe you. But it's people right now driving Ferraris and Bentleys. Like how you see Hondas driving around, you see Ferraris and Aston Martins and BMWs. You understand? There ain't that many rich people over in Europe. They getting welfare checks for the dividends of what their forefathers invested in. You understand? So every nation in the world came together when it came to the oppression of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. That's why a Chinese man can come to America, get citizenship, and start a business and can't speak a word of goddamn English. But yet our Hispanic brothers and sisters, you understand, they get their kids stoned in cages at the borders. You understand? While we're sitting around eating turkey and cranberry sauce. You understand? And with that, I'm gonna conclude the class. We got any questions? Anything anybody needed me to bring out before we wrap it up? Now, I can only see YouTube, I can't see Facebook. So if you have a question, remember to type it in YouTube. School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother or sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shake themselves in the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular brother or sister, there's another 6 months in which their brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3, verse 8 through 10, means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. Be the feast of dedication, Hanukkah, the 25th day of the 9th month by the space of 8 days, which is Wednesday, December the 9th, 2020, for 8 days, found in 1 Maccabees chapter 4, verse 52 through 61. Akim, check the bulletin board in the hallway for any updates, for any reminders. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, you will start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, and war scarf. And with that, shalom.